Okay, so hello. So this is the next video that I will make in regards to my life. So in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my birth. So I was born, and forgive the voice thing. I have this thing where I do that. Anyway, so I was born on November 28th, 1973. My mother was 21 years old when she conceived me. She was with a gentleman. And so when she told this person that she was pregnant, he felt that his wife and his daughter would not be okay with him bringing in another child to their life. So he said sayonara, and she had told me at age 8 that she tried everything to deal with the problem. Meaning that she tried to lose me as a child. So she had said that she danced, she drank, she smoked, she did everything she could think of that would cause me to not be born. I stuck it in though, and I was not. I stayed. Excuse me. Yes, okay. So, back. I stayed. So, it turns out she did not tell anyone she was pregnant. Story goes that it was a very close friend of the family, Sandy and Bobby, who was actually Sandy, if the story goes, who looked at her and said, "I think Kathy Wathy's pregnant." And so they asked her and said, "Yeah." So, my grandparents are dead now, so I don't have anyone to ask, as is my aunt. So at the time, my mother was living on West Avenue, and they lived in a house that she had said was not very well maintained. She said that one of the downfalls was that in the wintertime you could actually see snow coming into the bathroom. And so she had decided that she did not want to raise a child there. So I don't know whether Sandy told my grandparents or whether they suspected. So at the time, the only people who lived in my grandparents' house was my Aunt Germaine and my grandparents and my mom. And so the story goes that my mom came to them and said, "I'm moving. I don't know if you're moving with me, but I'm moving." And they said, "Okay, we'll move." And so they moved to a house on Harmony. And somewhere in there, they became aware that my mom was pregnant. My mom had me prematurely. So on November 28th of 1973, as the story goes, it was a blizzard of a night. And my mom's water broke. And she had been in the hospital, or was taken to the hospital. And she did not want my grandmother there. Because I was so premature, I was coming out so premature, she wasn't sure I would survive, and the story goes, she didn't want my grandmother there to face that pain. And she was like, "This is my pain to face, I'll face it, my mom doesn't need to be here." So, she was there, but Grandma being Grandma, and for those who know my grandmother, Grandma being Grandma, went up to the hospital and wanted to come in, and my mother would not let her in the birthing room. So I was born. I don't know how long it took, but I was born. And I had a heart murmur. So I was a dry breech, which means my mom's water had broke, so that fluid wasn't there to help me come out, and I was breech, which means I was born backwards, as opposed to the feet coming out and the head last. My head came out first, and the feet came out last, or vice versa, whatever it is, how it's supposed to work. But yeah, anyway, so I was a dry breech. So my mom had me. I had a heart murmur. I went to St. Joe, or the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto for, I believe, a couple of months. And then I came home, and we lived on Harmony for a few years, and I had a dog named Cinnamon. My mother never was really able to tell me much about my father. She at one point told me, I'm pretty sure she said that he was Inuit. He was indigenous, and I've been told that he did have red hair, which I've read is something that happens sometimes with indigenous folk. But that's all I've been ever really able to know. It turns out that, and she had said at one point she felt like he had not been truthful with her about his name. So I don't know that. But yeah, that was my birth and my introduction into this world. So my next video, I will talk a little bit. I don't know what I'll talk about, but my beginning years of what I recall, probably into school. But yeah. If you're watching this, I hope you enjoyed. Yeah. Bye now.